In the hamlet of Terrarosa, there's a watermill that doesn't want to grow old. Since 1660, it has been grinding olives and chestnut flour with the same passion. The Scartabelli brothers, the last millers of Cap Corsa, keep it working in memory of their father.
For me, this mill has lots and lots of memories, and to see it working again like this, one person up there will be very happy, and that's my father. He was very attached to this mill, and the owner was also very attached to it. There's somewhere around. It's true that I sometimes yell at him when I'm here and I'm having troubles with the flour. I mention the flour because it's very tricky. I say to myself, damn, what would he have done? And I try to remember some of his gestures because it's not always easy. But this mill is the past, the present, and I hope it'll also be a bit of the future. It's not work, it's a vocation, a passion. These baskets that I have here, they're called escortins. Actually, they're filters. We put the pulp in there, and afterwards we put it under the press. And when we fill them, we try to fill them very evenly, without any spaces, so that they keep their shape well. Sometimes they can slip with the pressure. We do go up to 40 tons of pressure.
At the mill in Terrarosa, it's the whole life of the hamlet that comes here for a few litres of olive oil or a few kilos of chestnut flour. Around the Scartabelli brothers, each pressing in the season is a celebration and a way of being together and sharing these simple moments, as people used to do.
If tomorrow no one brings anything to feed this mill, the mill won't speak anymore. It won't feed. It will be permanently closed. And then someone says to me, I've got 10 kilos of corn. I prepare the mill, I clean the millstones, I put it all back together, and then I call him. It's done in 20 minutes. But at least the mill is alive. It's working. It's here and it's still alive.
Oui, oui, sont bouginades di pasta. Oui, oui. Tu peux les enlever. Tu peux les enlever.
There's no tree in Corsica more emblematic than the sweet chestnut. It even grows on the slopes of San Petrone, the highest peak in Castagnici. Chestnut trees as far as the eye can see, in a region which takes its name from the tree. The habitat and the environment are entirely shaped by the cultivation of chestnuts.
You're now in Ampugnani, which is one of the micro-valleys of Castagnicia. It's called Little Castagnicia, Vecorit.
In Castagnicia, chestnut cultivation was imposed on Corsicans by the Genoese in the 16th century. 35,000 hectares of chestnut trees allowed generations of Corsicans to live and even save them from famine.
Some chestnut trees are enormous. I've seen one chestnut tree with a circumference of 18 meters. In winter, when they've lost their leaves, I feel as if they're skeletons watching me. But huge skeletons, the way we saw them when we were kids, in our dreams, and they scared us a bit. But everything depended on chestnuts, people and animals. Chestnuts were the mainstay. There was flour for the humans, but also flour for the animals. I love everything about chestnut trees. I think they're all beautiful. It's the way they stand. They look like giants with their arms stretched up towards the sky, and we're very small beside them. But they're going to grow even bigger with a bit of work we're doing to maintain them. They'll develop a bit more.
Jean-Mathieu, a pig breeder, and Jean, retired from the National Forestry Service, spend their time renovating a chestnut grove to feed their pigs and to make chestnut flour.
They've been neglected for decades. If you only look at the ivy, it's a parasite, so if we remove it, that's already something.
The job is huge, because almost the whole of Castagniccia is now in this state of neglect.
But I can tell you that these trees have fed an awful lot of people since they've been here. We're trying to preserve what we can by doing a little. But I don't know if we'll be able to pass on what you see here, what our ancestors handed down to us.
Vines have always been grown in Corsica, and the island's wines have been enjoyed since ancient times. Following in the footsteps of their wine grower father, the Arena brothers, Jean-Marie and Jean-Baptiste, make acclaimed wines in patrimonio, which can be found on the finest tables.
The greatest terroirs are planted on limestone. Here on some fairly young limestone, so you can really capture the strength of the limestone, the active limestone, and the mineral aspect. Luckily, we make organic wines. We make wines that are very close to the terroir. So with the Vermentino and the Bianco Gentil, you really get that minerality in your wines afterwards.
At the foot of the Patrimonio cliffs, the Arena brothers are working on an endemic grape variety, which had disappeared, the Bianco Gentil. Only 4 hectares remain of it in the world.
When you go higher on the rock, on the mountain, you can even go into the caves and see wild goats in there sometimes. It's like being on a beach. There are shells and sand. In the caves just up there, there's sand on the floor.
C'est vraiment du sable, c'est beaucoup de fossiles.
It's really a choice which is qualitative, but also one of identity, to find through this limestone soil a specific character that exists nowhere else in Corsica, except for this area which straddles across the two Corsicas, which are the Corsica of schist in Cap Corse and the Corsica of granite, which is practically all the rest of Corsica. And we're kind of between the two of them, a bit schizophrenic.
Un peu schizo.
In November, when the wine has turned yellow, the wine growers of Patrimonio come together to celebrate their patron saint, San Martino, the saint of peasants and countryside. The San Martino festival is so well known that people come from all over Europe to taste the new wine offered by the wine growers of Patrimonio. The wealth of the trees in Corsica contains enormous potential, whose value hasn't yet been estimated. Taking back the land inherited from their ancestors is one way of safeguarding the quality of these man-managed landscapes, just like the biodiversity present on the island. The world is changing, and the plant heritage is still the future of this land that humans have always worked.